And good evening, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Dave Roberts here. Just wanted to say hello, break in here, and talk a little bit about what's going on with the latest on this winter storm. Continue to cover it for you. We're going to have a lot more for you coming up on WLBT News at 10. But in the meantime, just wanted to let you know what's happening here with the storm, give you the very latest on it, and answer any questions that you may have when it comes to this weather. So hopefully you're having a good evening. And tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We got a couple things going on, not just obviously when it comes to the weather, when it comes to the chance for snow, but for the cold weather as well. We drop below freezing around 5-6 o'clock this evening, and we are going to stay below freezing now until 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So we're talking about 40 hours below freezing, which is definitely unusual, definitely unusually cold for here and for this area. So we want you to be aware of that. It's been interesting. I know there's been some debate and discussion about schools in many parts of the state not having school tomorrow. And, part of it is you got to think about the kids, I guess. I don't know what the criteria is for deciding that, but you got to think about the kids standing out in this weather this morning. The wind chill was 9 degrees. Now, if this were Kalamazoo, Michigan, I guess it's pretty common, right? But around here, that's very uncommon. So I guess giving the kids a break and the adults too, in case you stand out there with your kids at the bus stop waiting for the bus to show up. Anyway, I hope you're having a good evening, Monday evening on this holiday. And a lot of folks want to know, is it going to snow? Is it going to snow? Is it going to snow? And here's the story. The conditions, things are getting drier and colder as we look at all these weather conditions here. So it's going to be getting colder and drier for sure. And that's the thing. That's what's eating away at our chances for having a good snow tomorrow in the first place. Last week, we started talking about it. Really didn't show more than probably about 1/3 of an inch of accumulation for snowfall in the metro. We kept saying there might be higher amounts to the south. And that still looks like it's going to be the case. But now it looks like it's pushing even further south. And so as a result, it looks like this could be more of a coastal storm than anything else. But we're going to delve into the details here and tell you a little bit about what's going on. So first off, obviously, this is a first alert weather day. We issue them when we're going to have disruptive weather covering a large part of our area. And that's exactly what is taking place here. It's the real cold weather today. The wind chill this morning of 9. Temperatures were in the low 20s in many places. And today we barely got above freezing. But we did. We made it to 37 degrees this afternoon, which is, we made it to 36 degrees this afternoon. It was above freezing, but it's 21 degrees below normal. It's not a record either. It's just a cold day. And so, this cold weather continues out there, and it's going to continue to be the case as we go throughout the next couple of days. So midnight through Tuesday, we pretty much have a winter storm warning for Jefferson Davis, Lawrence, Walthall, Pike, Lincoln, Franklin, Emmett, Wilkinson, and Adams counties. Then we've got a winter weather advisory for Smith, Simpson, Copiah, Claiborne, and Jefferson. So a warning is issued when we're expecting major conditions that would disrupt travel. A advisory means there will be some issues with travel. It won't be necessarily widespread, but there was a winter storm watch in effect for the Metro Jackson area, and that actually was pulled out at some point this afternoon as trends continue to show that this is going to be more of a southern trajectory storm. So that's the story there, but it's such a wide area that's going to be impacted by this particular storm system. I just don't recall seeing a winter storm warning along the Gulf Coast and stretching all the way from Mexico, South Texas, all the way to South Carolina. And look at how much of Florida has a winter storm warning in effect. Many places haven't seen a warning like this in over 10 years. Kind of interesting trivia. New Orleans could set a snowfall record tomorrow of some sort, maybe not the all-time record. The all-time record is 2.7 inches. In Biloxi, it's actually closer to a foot. They've had some freak snowstorms over the years, but not a lot of snow. It has only snowed about a half dozen times in recorded history, snowfall. And it's only done that in New Orleans about a half dozen times. And in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, it's only snowed about 17 or 18 times. Again, snowfall, not necessarily flurries in the air. So something to keep in mind. Records have gone back, obviously, to the 1800s. So it just lets you know that it's taken so long. So what's interesting right now, and I'm going to show you something here. We're going to peel the clouds out in a moment. The clouds are advancing in from the west very quickly. This is right now what's happening this evening. Those are clouds in gray. But what you can't see is we actually have some snow that is starting to develop now on radar. And look at how extensive it is in Louisiana and East Texas. So the snow is spreading in here for sure. It is moving in across the area. What has to happen now, though, is the atmosphere has to moisten up. So it's not moistening up yet. It is still very dry out there. But as the temperature continues to fall, and that's what it's doing this evening, the humidity is actually coming up. They're acting as a counterweight here. And so that moisture, as the snow keeps falling, the moisture's going up, the temperature's coming down. And at some point, they're going to reach that equilibrium where the snow will reach the surface. So we think that's going to happen. This is going to be a fast-moving storm system, and that's what's working against us right now. But that is snow on the radar nonetheless. It may not be snowing in many places yet in Louisiana, but it will be shortly. And then we expect after midnight tonight to be getting some light snow spreading across our area as well. And again, remember, it does not take a lot of snow to have disruptive weather around here by any means. So current look at our tower cam network, and really just quiet conditions out there across the area. The clouds are just starting to move in. I wanted to point out to you that this is the Renaissance, for instance. I'm going to show you Natchez here in just a moment, but 36 was the best we could do today. As I mentioned, that is 21 degrees below normal. It is right now below freezing. And like I said, it's going to stay below freezing for the foreseeable future for the next 36 to 40 hours. So we are expecting the snow to keep moving across the region. Again, if you want snow for this go around, go to the beach. And nobody would ever say that, right? But in Mississippi, we are saying it for this snowstorm because that's where most of our watches and warnings will remain. So again, southeastern parts of the state and really much of the Gulf Coast of the United States will continue to be under a winter storm warning when it comes to tomorrow. But it's a fast-moving storm, so it'll be out to the east very quickly. So this is the breakdown on what we're looking at. The good news, there's a piece of good news in here. Freezing rain remains unlikely. We just have no ingredients for it. It is dry and cold all the way from the surface way up into the atmosphere. And when you have dry conditions and very cold conditions, it's almost, as they say, too cold to snow. And there is some truth to that. It can actually be a little too cold to snow. It's actually the colder the air. Sometimes it indicates how dry the air mass is too. The closer you are to freezing, the wetter that snow is, the better you have a chance for accumulating snow. And of course, you get above freezing, well, all bets are off. You may have all the snow in the world, but it's not going to stick. So you could have a major snowstorm at 33 degrees and you're not going to really see anything on the ground, maybe on the grassy areas at best, but that's about it. So coldest weather of the season is here. 24 to 48 hours below freezing. I'm thinking about 40 is going to be the average. A dangerous wind chill, and freezing rain is not going to be something we have to worry about here in central or southwest Mississippi. But snowfall is certainly a possibility. Let's talk more about that because that's really what y'all came here for, right? So two things, the Euro and the GFS, which are good long range models to look at. Okay. We don't use them for short term necessarily, but these are good long range models. They are in agreement, which is good. Last time we feel the Euro did pretty good, and you got to measure these things at certain time points. You can't measure them right up until the day of, but this is the way it looks like right now. And these models will definitely change as we go through time. But I think by about midnight tonight, we're going to start to see, this is where the snow will actually be reaching the ground. This is in about 3 hours. So the snow will be reaching the ground at that time. And then as we go through the morning, you could see what's happening here. It's the dry air is just working so hard on this that it looks like it's, according to the latest models, it's probably just going to be Highway 84 and 98 that see any kind of significant snowfall during the day. And that's going to continue throughout the day tomorrow. Not much is given here for central Mississippi. I'm talking about the metro area or northward. There'll be a few flurries, but that's probably going to be about it. And it's unfortunate. We just don't have anything to indicate major accumulations coming to central Mississippi if that's what you're a fan of. So I look at the Euro, I look at the GFS, and I say, wow, they are really close. And they really are. If you look here at these forecast models, they really are close to each other in this regard. But it's a little unfortunate because we just have the dry air that I don't think it's handling very well. So take a look at these forecast models here. And we have 2 out of 4 forecast models that are saying snow and 2 that are not. None of them are indicating a freezing rain or ice storm. This is really important, okay, because the graph and the HRRR are the 2 most reliable forecast models that you're going to find really for this kind of situation when you're so close to it. You can look at the HRRR online. You can't look at the graph online. It's actually a proprietary in-house IBM forecast graphic. And so we are seeing these trends here. You've got your long-range trends, your long-range models, and this is the bottom line on where the snow is probably going to wind up accumulating. And at this point, when you look at your high resolution models, this is for Jackson now, it's indicating that it looks like there's not going to be that much if anything, some snow flurries, maybe a dusting on the high end. But I want to show you Macomb. And this is still indicating 3 or 4 inches for Macomb. But again, take a look at this HRRR. All of a sudden, the HRRR says no snow. I find that hard to believe that there'll be no snow in Macomb, but the HRRR is a model we use a lot. We actually use it quite a bit when we're talking about severe weather that's approaching, such as severe thunderstorms or tornadoes. So take a look at the comparison here. When you look at what's going on now with the graph is saying this is a snowstorm that's really going to be confined to our southernmost counties. There'll be some flurries elsewhere, but measurable accumulation, pick your city off the map there, you can see. The HRRR is really indicating, by the way, Bryce Rowland just cracked me up with his comment, dry air equals no snow, be at work in the morning. I don't know if that's to me because I have to be at work anyway. I can't really call in sick or call out in this kind of weather. But the HRRR is indicating hardly any snow, if not any snow at all across the area. And remember, the HRRR, we can only see that starting Saturday, Sunday, because it's a very short range model. So this is our high end forecast right now as it stands, and this will probably change between now and the 10 p.m. news. So I want you to make sure, I want you to make sure that you check this out. Paul Ingram asked a really good question. Dave, have you ever dated a wintry weather model? And yes, I have. I've actually dated a wintry weather model. I've dated a summer model as well, Paul. I will tell you the summer ones are very turbulent and very unstable, and so I would definitely tell you I'm more comfortable with wintry weather models. I also want to remind you that I am not a model. I'm not a weather model. I'm actually a meteorologist. So please understand that. My job is to interpret what I'm seeing and tell you what's going to happen. Whether I wish it to snow or not is irrelevant. The power that really decides whether it's going to snow over you or not is a little bit above me on pay grade. But I want you to know that if I were a kid, my young self loves snow. I wish I could go out and play with it. I'm telling you, I'm all excited. I want to see snow tomorrow, but I'm in central Mississippi. I'm in the metro, and unfortunately, the odds aren't looking that hot right now. So just keeping it real with you, I have to tell you the truth. I can wish all I want, but that's not really going to help very much at all. But thank you, Paul. That was a very, very introspective question you asked me, and I'm proud to share that with you. Snow showers begin overnight tonight. And when it comes to overnight and through the morning, we're going to be looking at those snow showers continuing as we go through the day on Tuesday. We'll have morning snow in many areas, especially south of the metro. And then the skies are going to clear up in the afternoon, middle of the afternoon. We're going to see the skies clear out. And the temperatures are the real concern here. Tomorrow morning, 24 degrees. And then Wednesday morning, 14 degrees. So we've got a hard freeze ahead. And the duration of the freezing, I'm going to up that here because it's really going to be about 40 hours below freezing. This is a dangerous situation. And I kind of understand why. I don't know, again, what the criteria was for schools to cancel for tomorrow or for Wednesday, for that matter. But it may have something to do with temperatures. This morning, that wind chill was brutal. And I just can't think of little kids staying out there in this kind of weather. I would feel horrible about it. I don't know, but I'm just giving my advice, my opinion for what it's worth, and it's not worth a lot. Hours below freezing. This is interesting too. So now we're below freezing. We're probably going to flirt with freezing tomorrow. Maybe we get a degree above freezing in some spots, but it's probably not going to be until about lunchtime Wednesday that we actually see temperatures above freezing. And that'll melt a lot of the activity that's happened. But for Southeast Mississippi, that's where it looks like most of the heaviest precipitation will occur. Temperatures will moderate considerably later this week, but it's still going to be very cold Thursday morning and Friday morning. And so here's the issue with Wednesday morning. You're going to have temperatures probably starting out in the teens, maybe lower teens, and then go to 40 degrees. That's going to cause any pipes that are having water in them and any issues that are exposed to contract, I should say, and expand. And what's going to happen is you're going to have some busted pipes. That becomes a real serious issue. So just keep that in mind. That is something we are watching very closely. I'll take a look real quick. I just want to go back. That's Natchez. We're in black and white vision here right now. It's called night vision because we just don't have enough light illuminating the camera. Let me go back a little bit here if I can. Give me 1 second. Just want to see if none of the cams that I'm looking at are showing any kind of snow right now. So I don't think it's really happening as we speak. So that's the thing. Current temperature's kind of chilly out there, that's for sure. Right now we're running about 30 degrees and not much of a wind chill. That's our problem right there. All right. You have 30 degrees. I'll show you the problem. If you can't see it, I'll point it out to you. The problem is it's 30 degrees. The real problem, though, is that the humidity is 30%. It's just very dry out there. That humidity needs to come up considerably to get that snow to reach the ground. It's probably snowing above us or at least close to us. But if that humidity is so low, as the snow falls, it actually evaporates right back up into the sky. You may see it sometimes with rain. You'll look in the distance and you see the little streamers in the sky, but it never quite rains on you. That's exactly what's going on with this particular weather right now. It's just too dry out there. So Kayla Hosey Pettigrew says, are we worried about things melting Wednesday and then refreezing that night? Absolutely. That's going to be the real problem here. You're going from 14 to 40, and then you're going back down to the low 20s when it comes to Thursday morning. It's going to cause a lot of problems out there for sure. Don't forget our free First Alert weather app. It's always there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for additional weather information. I'm going to go back to showing you the real-time models, and then I'll answer some of your questions that I can answer for you. So this particular map here, put it into motion. This shows the highest potential snowfall that we're going to see tomorrow. And I will tell you that it's pretty close to accurate in my opinion. It's the highest we're going to see. There's going to be a lot of places that aren't going to see any snow. So Ryan Phillips asked a good question. Will Pizza Hut be able to deliver your food tomorrow? And that's a great question, Ryan. I don't know. I will tell you, though, for the right price, I will deliver the pizza. But I'm not going to discuss the price here on Facebook. Let's see here. Gracie Cloud, what's a good dry sled? There you go. I will tell you right now, as a kid, that garbage pail top did me some good, but my mom wasn't too happy about me when she caught me doing that. So that's the story there. All right. So let me take your questions now that you may have. And again, don't ask me about specific towns because you can get that on the free First Alert weather app. I got the map up here for you. But if you have a question that pertains to something I didn't cover, I'll certainly answer that for you. Again, I'm going to be on Shelby Cole. Dave, can you make it sound really dramatic for Rankin County? Just in case your boss is watching. Well, Shelby, if Shelby's boss is watching, we really need Shelby to stay home tomorrow. Just because we're going to need her to count snowflakes in Rankin County. So she really can't be at work during the time that there's a chance for snow. So she would really be doing a big community service by her just sitting at home, counting snowflakes if they happen. Let's see if we have any questions. Crystal Overby, you take kayaks down the big hills. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't encourage that, but make sure you definitely send some video of that. We'd love to see that. Victoria Whaley LaRose, can't you just pull some weatherman strings and pull it a little north just to Madison? Listen, Victoria. Hey, Victoria, I didn't realize who you are. How are you? Victoria, I would love to. Trust me, I would love to go and play in the snow, but I can't. Hope Bishop, in the morning, do you think the bridges will have ice on them? Yes, Hope. I'm concerned about that, especially in the southwest part of the state where there's accumulation. Then we got to worry about tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, and then we got to worry about Wednesday night, Thursday morning, because we have multiple freezes in effect. Todd Gross, any freezing rain? Nope, I don't see any freezing rain in the forecast. So there you go. Jazz Clark, honestly, we got to get the humidity over 60%. We got a good saturation in the air. So we got to get a dew point. The dew point's way too cold. I mean, it's Arctic air. So right now our dew point's about 3 degrees. And so that is just an actual measure of moisture in the atmosphere. That means, okay, this is a great way to explain it. It has to be 3 degrees right now, Fahrenheit, for it to start snowing immediately. It's not going to be 3 degrees tonight. It's going to be more like 24 degrees. So we need the moisture to increase enough to bring that temperature down. But right now, 3 degrees is the dew point. That means that's the temperature at which the atmosphere would saturate. And it's just very dry. That's what's killing us here. It's just the dry air. Forecast models, I've said this before, I'll keep saying it again. Forecast models can do a decent job, but they have a hard time measuring where the edge of that Arctic air really settles in the Gulf. And that's why it's the Gulf of Mexico, or really the Gulf Coast, that's going to be hit by this storm tomorrow. And so that's why you're going to have much higher humidity there. You're going to have critical temperatures near freezing. And that's the story. We're just too far north to get a significant snowstorm here. And that storm's going to skirt right along the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So, Charlotte, that was a good point. Crystal Overby. Okay, everybody's dragon breath needs to get outside and breathe, increase the moisture in the air. That's not my advice, but that's one option. I just don't think we have enough people to pull it off. Not with such short notice. Gulf effect snow. Chris Tharp, great question. But Chris, I think I know where you are. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're in the Panhandle or you're somewhere on the Gulf Coast. I don't know that you're going to have Gulf effect snow where you are because you're actually going to have you're going to be really close to the storm system. Now, you could make the argument if you were in Central Florida, yeah, you could have some Gulf effect snow. That's certainly a possibility. That's happened before, but I don't think it's going to happen where you are. And, we've had res effect snow, which is wind blowing off the res, and it actually creates snow because it's so cold out there. And the atmosphere has to be really saturated, and it's got to be just enough breeze where once that moisture wafts off the res, that it just condenses and then just falls. But that's just not happening right now. It's very, very dry out there. Barbara Ainsworth, keep up the good work. God will bless you to see how hard it's. Well, you know what? I hope he's blessing everybody. I want everybody to be safe tomorrow. I definitely love seeing snow, and I love Mississippi when it snows once a year. I'm happy with that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want the weather getting too bad where it's going to cause problems. I want the kids to have a good time because a lot of these kids are seeing snow for the first time, and it's exciting. But, I just got to call it like I see it. All right. So, okay. So, Jeremy, you're in McGee, and you're saying it's snowing heavy right now, just north of McGee. So I know Doug Daspit. What about the big mass of snow in North Louisiana right now, about to enter Mississippi? Absolutely showing up on the radar. The atmosphere is becoming more moist there, and it's just a matter of time before it comes over our area, and we'll start seeing some of that snow around here. Oh, Ruth Whetstone Nicholson. Is it going to snow all day tomorrow in Pike County? No, it's mainly going to be overnight tonight and in the morning, and we think by mid-afternoon, maybe late afternoon, it's going to be gone. So, Brandon King, did you cut your own hair again? Looking fly for a white guy. It's a very good compliment, and it's a good question. It's a question that informs as well as entertains, Brandon. So I appreciate you asking that. No, I have not cut my own hair, not since the pandemic. Maybe one time since the pandemic, and that was a real issue. I cut my ear pretty bad. I had one of those clear bandages on my ear for about a week. A few people noticed. They were saying, what are you trying to do? Is that some kind of body art you're doing or body jewelry? They thought I pierced my ears. I did pierce them, but not for any other purpose. And I will not cut my hair again. As long as I'm working in television, I might do it. I'll be honest with you. I've done worse. So, but thank you for asking. It's a very important question. Actually, it's the best question I've had all day. Well, next to Paul Ingram's question about have I ever dated a winter model? Any other questions? They can actually be weather related if you'd like. Driving conditions. Very hard for me to say anything about driving conditions, April Richards. It's one of those things where you say, are we going to have power outages? Hard to say. What I'm worried about tomorrow and Wednesday morning is the fact that we could have temperatures so low that we are going to be taxing the power grid. But at this point, not so much. Ashley Phelps, can you explain what a dusting means? Yes, I can. So I went back, I looked at the records, and it appears that a dusting is where it's just barely coating the ground. It's roughly about 1/10 of an inch of snow. So it's barely enough to measure. Okay. That's the story there. So it's just barely enough to measure a dusting. You can see the grass through it. Maybe it's enough to coat the windshields, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. Kayla, Hosey, Pettigrew, pretty much less than an inch. If you're asking about your specific county or town, again, just look at the map there. You can see it right there for you. And that's that. Any other questions? How can people expect me to answer the unknown? Mary Clement. That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know how I can expect me to answer the unknown. There's a lot of things I want to answer. If I could answer them, I'm doing the best I can. And thank you, Kara Shirley, for chiming in. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm telling you the information that I'm seeing, and I'm being transparent about it. I have not been predicting a major snowstorm for the metro area since last week. I'm still not predicting one now. And, I really haven't gone much higher than a dusting to an inch of snow. I think I went with on Saturday. That was the most I went with for central Mississippi. I'm in that dusting category right now. I feel like I'm on the higher side, if not the right side of the predictions. I feel like this is getting pretty close to where we're going to be. And I have a gut feeling that the storm might be even more concentrated towards the Gulf Coast. So that's really, that's really the story there. So that's really what it comes down to. Brandon King, glad the kids on the coast are getting snow. Doesn't happen often for them. In fact, Brandon, it's only snowed in history on a snowfall on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi happens about once a decade. And it's not much. There have been some good snowstorms in the past, but this is just about once in a decade experience for the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And for Louisiana, it could be more like 20 to 30 years. This is a real big. Esla, she missed Christmas. Now we don't want it. Cameron Williams says, well, I'm not happy about all this weather moving in. That's for sure. So I want the snow. I want y'all to enjoy the snow. I would love for it to be a wonderful experience, especially for the kiddos. They have so much fun. We had, 2017? We had the last real big snow in central Mississippi. I think it was top 6. It was the 6th snowiest. We're going to have all kinds of weather trivia, by the way. I'm working on for the 10 o'clock news on WLBT. So if you're interested in weather factoids or like how rare it snows and this and that, I'm working on a whole bunch of that trivia for the 10 p.m. Gina Hallman Burton, what's the most snow we have gotten in Rankin County this time of year? So most is about 11 or 12 inches. You got to go back many, many years ago, but it did happen in one snowstorm. That's about the most we've ever seen. I think it's about a foot of snow in one particular snowstorm, and it was about 100 years ago. It was a long, long time ago before we had that. Let's see here. Any other questions? Daniel Diffie, hate that you have to stick up for yourself when you're just doing your job. Well, thank you, Daniel. But you know what? It's okay. I love this job. I do this job honestly because people here are extremely nice to me. It's for real. My mom, God rest her soul, my mom used to say all the time, she's like, oh, these people, they're so nice. They're so wonderful. And da-da-da-da-da-da. She used to read all your comments on Facebook. So I do it because I really do enjoy meteorology. I enjoy the science of it. I like being able to deliver to the audience here. I feel a responsibility. And so as long as I have that, I'm going to keep showing up. And of course, the paycheck every 2 weeks, it's kind of necessary for where I am in life. Dave, what time does Walmart close? Melinda Wilkerson, that's a great question. I don't know. And who knows? I might be working there next week. So I probably should find out what their hours are actually. Do you know? 11 p.m. Oh, which one? Okay, the Ridgeland Walmart closes at 11 p.m. We got a lot of people watching here outside the building. So, Crystal Overby, could you say hi to my children, Serenity, Corbin, Easton, and Timothy? They're watching. Hey, well, you're moving off my screen so quickly. Serenity, Corbin, Eastland, and Timothy, hello. I hope you're watching. I hope you get snow so you can go out there and play in it. Jennifer Robinson Bynum, you asked me, how much snow did we get in 2017 in December? It was 5.1 inches, and that was top 6 busiest snowstorm, the highest snowstorms we ever had. So okay, good question. Snow showers. Kristen Franklin, what are snow showers? You see that term being used on the app. Is it different to a normal snowfall or the same? No, snow showers mean that it's intermittent. So if we were just saying steady snow, moderate snow, or just snow, that's what that usually means. Snow is just short for moderate snow. So when you see snow, it means snow, or we'd say heavy snow to distinguish between just moderate snow and snow. Snow showers mean snow, stop, and every few minutes, just like that. Brenda Cox, prayers that everyone will have a warm place, the animals too. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now, it gets me so upset when I drive around and I see either pets they're outside, they shouldn't be outside, and it just gets me going. So I feel for you, and I think all the time. I lost my dog about almost a year ago now, hard to believe. And I just think about how she would go outside, do her business in the cold. She'd run around in circles, get all excited. And then after about 2 minutes, you could tell how cold she was. And she'd tackle me going right back into the house. And I just think about how much I love the fact that I'd wrap her in a blanket and she'd sit there and stare at me like, why did you make me go outside? But she had to. So that's a story there. Hey, Shirley Bounce from Taylorville. You want to build the table snowman on your back porch? I hope you can too, to be honest with you. I hope you can. I don't know though. I hope you can. That's all I'm going to say to you. It's just like I said, there's so much dry air right now, and that's the issue. But Vicky Turner praying for the homeless. Yeah, this is a tough time to be living outside, and that's what a lot of these folks have to deal with. I can't even imagine. You know, I was outside this morning, 9 degrees was that wind chill, and I thought, whoa. I have a winter coat. And I was like, wow. So a real personal story. And then I'm going to go, folks, because I got to start getting ready for the 10 p.m. news. There's a bunch of stuff we do as meteorologists here behind the scenes. You wouldn't want to even be interested in half the stuff we got to do. But you know, I take out the trash. I'm also part of the neighborhood watch, so I'll walk around the building. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do any of that. All right. So my tailor, I brought her my winter coat about a month ago. And she's booked up. She's totally booked up. I understand that. So I said, hey, you know, here's my winter coat. She goes, I'll have it back to you January 31st. When I saw this storm coming and the cold weather coming, I called her last week. I said, listen, I'm going to make you a deal. I'll either pay you extra to get my jacket ready maybe in 2 days, or can you just give it back to me now and I'll bring it back to you in a couple of weeks when this weather's gone. She says, you just show up and she goes, you just show up in 2 days and I'll see what I can do. So I left it alone and I showed up. Would you believe she sewed up the jacket? She did that for me. And I'm so grateful to her because today, wow, did I need that thing. I couldn't get over how cold that is. So Enrique hid. Hey, Dave, a dusting is rather disappointing. Totally agree with you. But at least we have a few more weeks of winter. Hopefully we get another chance. See, that's the spirit, Enrique. You get it. You get it. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Just because we're not getting it now, maybe we got a chance to get a nice, if y'all want a juicy snowstorm, can we do it on a Friday? Okay. Or not on a Tuesday. Who wants to have snow on a Tuesday? I like it on a Friday or a Monday. So we get a long weekend out of it. But what am I talking about? I got to work anyway. I can't call out. It doesn't make a difference. Anyway, enough about me. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. I'm real happy to present the weather to you and do my best to tell you what's going on. And like I said, here's what we're dealing with. A dusting to a couple inches of snow across parts of the area. But it is unlikely you're going to see a major snow out of this. It is more likely it's going to be an issue for South Mississippi, the southeastern part of the state. And that's the story there. And that's all I can tell you. Thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate all of you. I really do. You have no idea. And you really made me laugh internally. I cry externally, but I'm laughing internally at your comments. And I really do appreciate you checking in with me this evening. I'm not really sure how to turn this off right now. I'm going to hit a couple buttons. We'll see what happens. And I might disappear off your screens here for a little bit. But you can see me again if you want. Coming up tonight at 10 p.m. WLBT News and also Fox 40 News at 9. All right, this is where I hit the buttons and hopefully I'll get this right. Let's see what happens.